This little girl has found a big goose nest. The surrounding trees were destroyed by humans. The geese had to run away because of slaughter. She quickly put the eggs in a bag. After that, she went back home with the eggs. The eggs were covered by clothes and put in a drawer. She secretly took away her dad's lamp while he was working, then plugged it in and put it in the drawer for the eggs. Now everything was ready for hatching. Seeing her smile, I thought she would like to eat roast duck. The next day when she was at school, the birds were breaking its shells to come out. At night, when nobody paid attention to her, she went to the warehouse, opened the drawer, and saw the tiny birds. They were so cute. So she was more determined to take care of them. Her parents didn't see her at the house, so they immediately looked for her. Finally, they saw her sleeping in the warehouse, with a bunch of birdies around. Her dad put a blanket on her, and was about to leave, but that unintentionally woke her up. She looked at him and said, "I want to raise them." Of course, as a father, he couldn't reject her. She brought all of them home the next morning, and took care of them like her little brothers and sisters. When she saw her dad going downstairs, she didn't forget to ask him before going to school, "Please feed them every 2 hours." He looked at them and reluctantly agreed with her. Those little geese just kept pecking his beard. He had no more ways to deal with it, so he went to the animal management center. After explaining the situation, the staff didn't look like he wanted to help. He said he would come over in a few days. The little girl and the geese get along with each other really well. They saw her as their mom, and always followed her. They ran so fast as well, but one of them was lost because of not paying attention. She took them to a grass area to play. They were still behind her, which made her dad find it strange. That night, the staff of the animal management center came to their house, saying that it was illegal to have birds as pets. If their wings must be cut off if they were pets in order not to let them fly away. After that, he took out a nail clipper, picked a goose up, and was about to cut his wings. Luckily she stopped him timely. Her dad had to get this guy out of their house. She quickly brought the geese to the bathroom and hid there. The guy who was standing outside the house was pissed off, but he was still kicked out. After that, the father went to the bathroom to say sorry to his daughter. He didn't think it would happen this way, simultaneously promised that the geese would never be harmed anymore, but she didn't want to open the door. That night, when the geese were playing with each other in the basin, she was sleeping in the bathtub. Besides, there was a goose standing on the toilet just fell into the water. These geese were getting bigger and more mature. She was running with them every day in the yard. Her dad was busy, too. He started searching the geese's body and how they fly, then invented an aviette. Now it was time to test his invention. He flew the airplane to the sky. It was really high and successful, but it had a problem when landing, so he fell to the ground. The geese were getting bigger and bigger. His aviette was about to be completed. It did not only carry people but also have its wheels. Furthermore, the ability to fly was also outstanding. He was telling his daughter what he was thinking that night. He wanted to use his airplane to move them away, as well as help them fly, which was also their instinct. But she wanted to keep them. But if their wings must be eliminated, she had to agree to help him. He pretended to be an airplane running around so that the geese can be familiar with him. But he failed every time he tried. She had to wear her dad's clothes and leading them to run around, then left them to her dad at a suitable point. This time was successful. They followed him, which made this man happy when being a mom. The relationship between both of them were getting closer. After that, he tried to fly his small airplane one more time to help the geese practice how to fly. And then he was holding a speaker to familiarize them with the sound from the speaker. The practices were great, they were mature now. But when he flew the airplane to the sky, none of them followed. She was chasing them to fly, but she totally failed after many times of trying. She was skeptical that it could be because of her, so she hid herself. But not long after, the geese found her. Alright, these geese just wanted to be with her. When the father truly felt disappointed, she silently got on the airplane. The geese flew with her without doubt, but she didn't know how to control the plane, so she fell after. Her dad was rushing to check. Fortunately, she was not injured. Although the plane failed, this proved that this way was effective. That night, he decided to make another small airplane. He was a very determined person, even taught his daughter how to fly an airplane, because he wanted the birds to migrate with them. Nobody has done this before. The geese saw her flying to the sky. They bit the string in their cage, and immediately flew behind. They all flew around in the sky together, even making a line when they were flying over a field. This was completely awesome. They came to the bird reservation center, but this place was taken over for business. If there was no migratory transients here until next month, commercial facilities would be built here. This gave them some hope. The itinerary was about 300 kilometers. They have checked and made a plan for their trip. Before commencing, they made the geese practice for a few times just to make sure. One of them hit the airplane when practicing and fell to the woods. She had to bring the rest home first, and they came back to the woods to look for the missing goose at night. But the people from the animal management center came over when the family was not there. They took the geese away. The little girl found the injured goose, but when she came home, there were just empty cages. All of them were locked in the front of the center. They need to follow the plan. They tricked the security guard to go away. Then they let the geese out. She flew her airplane there. The geese immediately followed her. Nobody could stop them anymore. But the migrating itinerary was not really smooth. They had to go for another 120 kilometers before the sun goes down, flying over a huge lake then a city. Now it was in the evening. they needed to land before it was dark. At that time, a nearby military base found them. Moreover, every alert system was activated. They got arrested right after landing. But the geese made the troopers curious. They even took photos with the geese. The little girl and her father went to the news sector of the base with the geese. These scenes were recorded by the media. Hence, they got some attention from society. They enjoyed plenty of beautiful sceneries on the way. Then they met the wild geese in the sky. These wild geese also flew with them. She found a bunch hunter by the lake. These guys were aiming to shoot the geese. She flew over to these guys to stop them. They also landed and stayed the night here. An old grandma knew their story, so she voluntarily supported. The following day, after she called the geese, they kept going. Not long after, it was extremely cloudy. They almost crashed a big building. Luckily, they flew around the city and got out of danger. At the same time, there was a big argument between people who love animals and businessmen who were constructing their facilities here. There was just only 120 kilometers left, but the father's airplane got in trouble, crashed to the field. She quickly landed to check if her dad was okay. It was lucky that he was okay, but the rest of the road had to depend on her. She flew over a town. People in that town guided her where to go in an enthusiastic way. The sceneries were magnificent. While everybody was anxiously waiting, she eventually arrived with the geese. Everyone moved out to give her some room to land. The chance of making businesses here was gone. The geese landed on the lake. This would be their new house. This movie was based on a real story. I hope that humans and birds can live together peacefully. This is not only a slogan but also a premise stated in the future.